Straight up.
Now tell me,
Do you really want to love?
Yeah.
On a completely unrelated topic, gonna chill on the Afro dad jokes, considering he did just have a stroke a couple weeks ago, and I just found out. But the only three topics I have today are one, the holiday that just passed that some people celebrated and some people did not, known as the 4th of July, or other people just called it the 4th day in July, which that's all it was. Two, I kind of want to talk about the next generation and our role in that, considering a lot of them kind of might be in the same shoes we are, or they might be in different shoes, like they might be in a better situation. We can only hope for that. And then the last topic I have on here is basically, I don't know, like if it's just because I took like those 2-3 days away from social media in the middle of the week again, but I feel like I feel like things are being done, but a lot of things are slowing down more and more as July comes to it. Well, not an end, but as we reach the middle of July more. So basically, the question is, what can be done to keep things alive and to get Lil? Oh, never mind. I apologize, Lil Day. I'll stop talking my shit. But what can be done to keep things rolling at a decent pace and keep basically things kind of active, and I don't know what else actually to say besides that. How to keep the movement active, how to keep people aware, aside from the obvious shit like, oh yeah, just post more or retweet more. Like some people really ain't gonna read that shit. Like they gonna see like, oh, this person retweeted it. Oh look, Black Lives Matter. That's all. I like it. Retweet it. That's it. But we can start off with the July 4th. First question about that, like, did y'all celebrate it?
Nope.
I slept half the day. I literally finished having my mom cooking.
And that's all you had to say. Never mind.
Yeah, no, we were done before noon. She cooks really early. She starts cooking at 6 in the morning.
God damn.
And we prep everything the day before.
Okay, that's understandable. So get up early, get it done. That way you ain't got shit to do.
Yeah, so helped her get done cooking, played the game a little bit, then I slept the rest of the day till it was nighttime.
Just woke up, it's like, oh shit, it's night. What now?
Yeah. So that answers about me celebrating it.
I wouldn't say I didn't celebrate July 4th, but at the same time, I didn't celebrate it as a holiday. The way I saw it yesterday, we the family, we linked up at my sister's house. The kids went swimming in the backyard. We had a barbecue, just had a good old time, had some drinks out there, and did our normal thing. Honestly, if y'all would have told me yesterday was July 5th, I would have fucking believed y'all. I completely forgot it was a fucking holiday, considering everything that's going on. Like, this is a holiday? Why? For what? Like, oh, okay. So I wouldn't say like we celebrated the holiday. I'll say we took advantage of the fact like, oh, you get to shoot shit in the air all night long and keep kids distracted all night long. So it was like a free babysit day, if that's what you want to call it. Kids had a good time. They had, like, the adults, the parents, they had a good time. They had some drinks, they played cards, they played dominoes. Normal cookout shit. So, like, do y'all think the 4th should still be celebrated?
I don't know anymore. Not even gonna lie to you.
I think it should. Only for the sheer fact of it's to celebrate, acknowledge the day that this country became a country. Even though I don't agree with at least 75% of what this country does, at least, the very least.
Like that could go up, but that's just the bare minimum.
Yeah, that's just the bare minimum. It still is something for people to celebrate.
Understandable.
If I disagree with it, I'm just not gonna celebrate it. That's just it. But I'm not gonna stop anyone else from doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Like last night when I did finally get home and decided to sit down and chill, I went on Twitter for all of like 10 minutes just to see a lot of people mad. Like, why the fuck are y'all celebrating the like July 4th? Y'all know slaves weren't free on like this isn't y'all freedom. Like, bitch, I am out here getting kids off my back. You think this is celebrating? Suck my dick. My entire dick. This is a day where niggas get a day off, somewhat. Granted, I didn't get a day off, but shit. Honestly, the 4th is kind of a weird. Like yesterday felt normal, but it felt like it wasn't Saturday, like it wasn't a holiday really.
Honestly, I've always celebrated the 4th, like, not bad for interrupting. Like, it was just fireworks and...
Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever celebrated, like, oh yeah, we're free, we're independent. No, I just want to, like, I'm just out here lighting fireworks because probably a pyromaniac and I just like to see shit burn.
Alright, Usher. Nah, I'm just looking at it a little bit differently. Just because every nation has a bloody past.
Yeah. Ours, we just don't like to talk about it apparently, or teach people about it. We just like, remember when we slaughtered all those people? Forget about it, type shit.
Yeah. When honestly, I have no problem with people celebrating Independence Day, as long as other people get their fucking holidays too.
Right.
Like Juneteenth should be for us.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people would not have even said anything about Juneteenth this year if everything didn't happen.
Oh, that's
they wouldn't
have.
It would have been another day and nobody would have said anything.
I've seen some people say something, oh, I didn't even know this was a holiday, or this was an actual holiday, and I'm just like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the school system. But I don't even know when I found out, but ever since then, I always celebrated, even if it was by myself. I was like, you know what?
More than likely, you found out your first year in college. I mean, not in college. Your first year, either out of high school or your freshman year. It's either or, because freshman year, you're like, oh, this is new. Like, I want to learn it. My bad for interrupting. Like this, but like in freshman year, you're like, this is a new level. I want to learn more. So you start studying on your own. But I feel like those are the like two most years where a lot of people learn about either Juneteenth, either their freshman year because they're excited. Let's learn about this shit. Or they go through all 4 years of high school. They graduate high school and they like, I feel like I ain't learned everything. Or like, let me look up this. Like, why is this in my phone always? Like, think about it. Like, you more than likely, I feel like that's how a lot of people find out about Juneteenth. It happens to pop up on their phone. Like, why the hell I got a holiday on June 19th? Like, if you do your research, you'll know why you have a holiday. If you don't, then you'll just probably ignore it for a little while longer until you be like, all right, let me look this shit up and figure out what the fuck is going on. A lot of people are self-taught when it comes to that aspect. I made it through all the high school, and now we just now learning about Black History. We knew it was Black History Month, and we know about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, but that's the basics of it. The school system's like, oh, fuck everybody else. You know about them too. That's it. That's all you need to know about. Like, excuse you?
We were what year was it? Junior year? Yeah, junior year. We were talking about Africa specifically, and we had to write a book report on something. I forgot, but long story short, I talked about King Leopold III.
Is this at the high school that you went to that was just strictly white?
I mean, there was 7 black people, and
If you can count them on, if you can count them off the top of your head like that, then you went to a white high school.
We all knew each other by name.
How many people went to your school? I know you know the number because somebody mentions the number. There's always that one person that mentions the fucking number. Oh, I got this many people in my class, or this many people in my school, or yada yada yada.
About 1,500 to 2,000. Lord knows when this one kid was he walked up to me and was like, "Hey, the cotton in my jacket you picked."
Yeah. You're a better guy than me, Brian.
Way better.
I know.
You are way, bro. You are way better.
I do thank one of these kids though, because like, on my senior year, this one dude called me the N-word with the RDR because I outplayed him in flag football. It's funny, you're a jock and you got outplayed by somebody who doesn't play football. Anyways, that's not the point. He got mad, pushed me, called me that, and the dude, a bystander, he was more mad than I was. He was like, "No, F that. You can't just go around saying that to..." Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was still an outlier. The way I talked and presented myself. I was still an outlier.
I've experienced that wholeheartedly. Being an outlier, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
It's just the way you talk, or the way you dress, or the way you act around a certain group of people.
Yeah. Like I don't talk aggressive. I don't talk with wrong enunciation. The fact that I said enunciation would have gotten me kicked out. Like, hey yo, no.
You know what's so fucked up, Brian? It's literally the main way to get acceptance is by doing something that people don't expect that you could do. So like, if you're really good at a sport, people gravitate towards you. For me, it was rap. But like, when you have those things, people don't treat you so much as an outlier, but that's all they ever expect from you.
Oh yeah.
It's like when we talked about that first week about the movement actually being a movement and it just being a trend.
Yeah.
Because like, the thing is, we should never forget the 4th of July. The reason why is because we are American citizens. But
it's important to understand, like,
yeah, it's definitely important.
People, I've seen a few people on Twitter like, if you don't like the 4th of July, then go back to your own country, and I'm just like,
bitch, y'all brought us here.
Yo, you wanna know what's crazy?
What?
Native Americans weren't the only first people here.
Huh.
Yeah. It was black people, it was Moors. Moors actually guided Christopher Columbus on the first trips to America.
Huh.
And then, like, he went back to Africa, and that's when he did the slave trade. He got a few slaves. Few slaves weren't sold, but some were. And the reason why they were sold was because slavery in Africa was different than slavery in America. Slavery in Africa, you weren't necessarily considered an object. You were considered a person. You just had to work for these people for the rest of your life. But you still had your rights as a person.
And then when
in America,
colonizers got it, oh, you want rights? You want to be a person?
Yeah.
Nah, I own you. You are my non-legitimate son.
Yeah, even documentation from Africa long ago even states that servants are basically considered family members because they've been there so long. And a lot of slave work then wasn't necessarily field work. It was mainly house labor, like a butler or a maid.
And then they just turned it into get your ass out there.
Cattle slavery.
Yeah.
Yep, cattle slavery, where they don't teach you how to read, write. They teach you how to speak just so they can understand what you say, but that's it.
Wow. Actually, something I just learned probably about 2 weeks ago. I don't know like the truth of it all, but apparently slave owners used to take black mothers away and force since mothers frown upon breastfeeding or something like that, they would use slave mothers and take them away from their own children, and they would try to have children around the same time as like the slaves that they purchased from whoever or whatever. I don't know the truth behind that. It was just something I was reading. It was a random article, and I meant to look more into it, but it just slipped my mind.
I've never heard of that. I've heard of the breeding camps that they used to have in slavery, where they would take slaves and force them to breed together to keep the slave population high.
I've heard of that one before.
There's actually proof for that one.
You really learn something
Yeah,
every day
actually
at this point.
Yeah.
Things that you honestly should have been taught in high school.
And then, like, the dark part about that with the breeding, besides just forcing people to just have sex, some would come through forced incest, and like males, like if they weren't viral, they would get castrated.
Ooh.
So, and often a lot of male slaves were castrated, and they had to select like the most athletic build.
I'm getting a little Get Out vibe here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that's exactly what it just sounded like to me. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And for those reasons, I understand why people wouldn't celebrate the 4th of July. Like, that's dark.
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to
Oh.
Yeah.
On a completely unrelated note, why is Chicago getting smacked by New York 29-42?
All I have to say is, I forgot that she was a person. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah.
She's a heartless now.
Now, as soon as Joe started saying something, as soon as he was like, I don't give a fuck about her, I'm like, I know who this is about. No. So, we just gonna move on.
Yeah. Honestly, is there anything else that y'all want to talk about with the 4th of July?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't.
I'm trying to think, because I thought I had more to say. Yeah. Just people should realize with the 4th of July, it's not necessarily all of American independence, considering women can vote for, 50 years after? Just saying. If not longer. I could be wrong on that time frame.
Huh.
And slaves couldn't vote at that time either. And the only reason why they allowed slaves to vote was just the South wanted to try to get advantage on the presidential election. But the North was like, let's kind of calm this down. That's why they put the 3/5 law. So they couldn't get outnumbered, but they also treated us that way anyway. So it was like a double-edged sword.